Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Prasharani Nirvishisha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare ग्रंथेर आरंभ करी मंगलाचरण हरि गुरु वैष्णव तीनेर स्मरण होय विघ्न विनाशन अनायासे होय निज बांछित पूर्ण. In Chaitanya Charitamrit, our very beloved reverential Srila Vishwanath, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad has written that in the beginning of any speaking service or any writing service, any book or any Hari Katha, even Hari Kirtan for that matter, Hari Guru Vaishnava Tinera Smaran. It is a mandatory rule that we should remember our spiritual master. We should remember the Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas who have played an important role in our life. And we should remember Sri Krishna, our worshipable deities. What do we get by this Mangalacharana? Tinera smarana hoy vigna vinashan. All auspiciousness is guaranteed and all inauspiciousness is removed. This is guaranteed. Even Srila Narottam Das Thakur has said, Echhai Goshai Kori Charana Bandhan Jaha hoite Vignanash Abhishtapuran. That by bowing down to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, all inauspiciousness will be removed and all blessings are guaranteed. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, recently I was reading one purport of, I think, Antilila Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada writes that anyone who prays to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, all their obstacles on the path of spiritual life will be uprooted. So we have how many anarthas? 6 anarthas. And Krishna has how many opulences? 6 opulences. So we have to go from being attracted to the 6 anarthas to be attracted to the 6 opulences. And for that, we need the blessings of the 6 Goswamis, who will lift from one 6 to another 6. Quite astonishing. And of course, in the Upadeshamrit, we have seen how the first 4 verses have all the play of the number 6. Rupa Goswami Pad has said how the 6 anarthas should be controlled. The 6 Vegas, Vacho Vega, Manasa, Krodha, Jibha, Udara, Upastha. Then he says what are Pratikulya Sevarjanam, what are the inauspicious or unfavorable 6 things to be avoided. Atyahara, Prayasa, Prajalpa, Niyamagra, Janasanga, Laulyam. Then what are the 6 things that are favorable? Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, Tat Tat Karma, Pravartanat, Ityadi. And then what are the 6 favorable exchanges? Dadati pratigranhati guhyam akhyati prachati bhungte bhojayate chaiva ityadi. I am reminded how in the pastime of Putana's deliverance in the 6th chapter of the 10th canto, Srila Sridhar Swami in his Bhavartha Deepika commentary, he writes, and I found this in Srila Vallabhacharyaji's commentary also, that this is the 6th chapter of the 10th canto, where Krishna is 6 days old and he is uprooting the 6 anarthas of Putana and displaying the 6 opulences of his divinity. So I am kind of tangentially moving to these topics, but coming to the point that our 6 Goswamis must be remembered, and the Guru Parampara must be remembered, Krishna must be remembered, Mahaprabhu must be remembered, our Diksha Guru must be remembered. And by doing that, it is described, Tinera smarana hoy vigna vinashan anayase hoy nija vanchita puran. Whatever is our spiritual desire, that will be fulfilled, and all the speed breakers on the path of bhakti will be uprooted. This is for sure. So having said that and offered Mangalacharana, remembered Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, chanting the names of the 6 Goswamis, taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada and all our Guru Varga. I want to introduce the topic for today. Very embarrassing. Our Ambarish Maharaj Prabhu has put a big load on my head. I don't know how I'm going to carry today. The topic I have been given is developing humility. It is beyond my experience and beyond my adhikar. But of course, it's a very important topic because as we understand, Vaishnava qualities is the heartbeat that attracts Krishna. We find in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jadyapi tumi hoy jagata pavan, tuma sparsha pavitra hoy deva munigan, tathapi bhaktera swabhav maryada rakshan, maryada palana hoy sadhu rabhushan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got so attracted to Srila Sanatana Goswami's humility. Very quickly, a short story. And I remember this evidently because the last time we met online, somehow I was inspired to say the same story even then. And after a long time when we are all meeting, again somehow, unplanned, but the story is coming up. Very quickly, we find how Srila Sanatana Goswami was invited for prasadam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he doesn't turn up on time. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu honors prasadam, takes rest in the afternoon. And then when he wakes up, he finds Sanatana Goswami at his doorstep. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatana Goswami, where were you? I was waiting for you all this while. Srila Sanatana Goswami said, my Lord, please forgive me. I took some time in coming here. Mahaprabhu said, but you are at Siddha Bakul and I am at Gambhira. It's very close. Why did you take such a long time? So Srila Sanatana Goswami is quiet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please tell me, which path did you take? Did you take the path which is straight coming through the temple? Or did you take the path which is really far coming through the ocean shore? Which one did you take? So Srila Sanatana Goswami, he hung his head and he said, my Lord, I took the path from the ocean shore. Mahaprabhu said, why? You could have come the straight path through the temple. Srila Sanatana Goswami said, I am very fallen. By buddhi, by jati, by guna, I am completely fallen. I have served Nawab Hussain Shah, who has been detrimental initially to the practices of Vedic culture. He has even destroyed some cows and Vedic practice. And somehow I was serving him and then I am completely polluted and contaminated. Even by my birth, I am contaminated. Even by my Acharya, I am contaminated. Even my body is, you see, Mahaprabhu is full of open wounds and sore and pus. I am completely contaminated. So if I walk through the main path near the Jagannath temple, it's possible I may touch some devotee who's actually going on the way to take darshan. I can't go inside to take darshan. But if I touch someone, or some paraphernalia like coconut or some cloth or some offering or some flower garland, it will become contaminated. This is Sanatana Goswami's perspective. It will actually become purified from the absolute standpoint. But Srila Sanatana Goswami, in utter humility, real humility, not through words, but really his heart was melting in this mood that I am completely destitute. I am poverty stricken, not through wealth, but prema dhana vina vyartha daridra jivan. Without Krishna bhakti, my life is useless. Why should I touch some paraphernalia? Why should I touch some plate? Why should I touch the cloth, the dress, or the body of some Vaishnava who's going inside to take darshan? I can't take darshan. At least they should be allowed to take darshan. So therefore, my Lord, I walk through the ocean shore. Mahaprabhu said, it is summertime and it is afternoon time. The sand is so hot. The only part of your body which doesn't have an open wound is perhaps the sole of your feet. But now walking and jumping and running through the ocean shore, I want to see the sole of your feet. And when Mahaprabhu saw Sanatana Goswami's feet, lotus feet, it was full of blisters. Srila Sanatana Goswami said, please forgive me, my Lord, because of my being completely contaminated and polluted, I couldn't even come to you to serve you on time. Please forgive me. At that time, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, touched by the humility of Srila Sanatana Goswami, he said, Jadyapi tumi hoye jagata pavan, tuma sparsha pavitra hoye deva munigan. Sanatan, you are saying you are untouchable? Actually, demigods come in human forms and they walk through the temple courtyard only so that they can get touched by your transcendental body. Jadyapi tumi hoy jagata pavan. You can purify the whole world. And tuma sparsha pavitra hoye deva munigan, the rishis, the different siddhas, the demigods, the vidyadharas, everyone comes in human form only to walking through the temple path so that, oh, you just see Sanatana Goswami. If he can just come and intercept our path, our life will be success. But I know, Sanatan, you will never think like that. Why? Tathapi bhaktera swabhav maryada rakshan. Maryada palana hoy sadhura bhushan. Because the ornament of a Vaishnav is not his earring or his necklace or his bracelet or his ankle bells. The ornament in the life of a Vaishnav is dinata, is humility. And Maryada palana hoy sadhura bhushan. The Vaishnav who has humility, he attracts the mercy of the Lord, said Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we have all good qualities, but if we are not practicing humility, true humility, then it is described Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Chapa Tapa Apranasya Iva Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. Just like a body without a soul, you put very wonderful makeup and very nice costly garments and ornaments. People who are watching the dead body, they will say, oh, person looks very nice. But the person, the soul himself who's not in that body, is not getting benefited. On the other hand, if there is soul in the body, even if there are no ornaments or makeup, still just the glitter in the life in the eyes moving around, the smiling face, oh, that attracts everyone. So what does that mean? That soul in the body of a Vaishnava is humility, dainyam, karpanyam. Karpanyam. If one has a lot of learning, one has a lot of verses and songs and information and very articulate and very erudite and expert, adept in everything, skilled, talented in so many things. Shariram surupam yathava kalatram yashacharu chitram dhanam meru tulyam manasche na lagnam gurorangri padme tathakyam 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 shadangadi vedo mukhe shastra vidya kavitvadi gadyam supadyam karoti manasche na lagnam gurorangri padme tathakyam 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 tathakyam. Sripad Adi Shankaracharya has blessed the world with this composition, where he says, if the person is very young, Shariram Surupam, very beautiful, very young, very handsome. Yathava Kalatram, wife is also very beautiful. Yashaha Charu Chitram, very famous. Dhanam Meru Tulyam, and the wealth is like Mount Meru. And Shad Angadi Vedo, Mukhe Shastra Vidya, and rivers of scholarship are emanating from the tongue. And what if this person writes Kavitvadi Gadyam Supadyam Karoti? And if he writes, he can compose poetry and prose and natakam and champu. But manasche na lagnam gurorangri padme. But if the head doesn't bow down to the feet of one's Gurudev in humility, tathakyam 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 tathakyam. Tumne kya paya jivan mein? Sripad Adi Shankaracharya is asking this question. Namanti phalino vriksha, namanti gunino jana, shushka kashtascha murkhascha, na namanti kadachana. The Subhashita Ratna Bhandagaram, it's age-old tradition of good sayings in Sanskrit. It says, Namanti phalino vriksha. Those trees which are filled with fruits are the ones which bow down by the weight of those fruits. And namanti gunino jana, and great personalities who are bedecked with the fruits of good qualities, by the weight of those good qualities, namanti. Sarvan namanti, they bow down to sarvebhya namanti, they bow down to everybody. But shushka kashtascha murkhascha, but the tree without fruits and a fool who thinks himself to be very great, na namanti kadachana. They don't bow down. You can see the tree without the fruit is standing tall. But the tree filled with fruits is bending by the weight of those fruits. Paropakarartham phalanti vriksha, paropakarartham duvanti gavaha, paropakaranti vahanti nadhya, paropakarartham idam shariram. You can see the humility of the cloud. The cloud never drinks its own water. Whatever it has, it just gives it out to others. The clouds don't drink their own water. The cow doesn't drink its own milk. Ganga doesn't drink her own water. Yamuna doesn't bathe in her own river. How amazing. The mango tree never eats even a single pulp, even single portion of even one of the mangoes that it has. Since time immemorial, there are so many mango trees. Not one tree in one of the branches has ever tasted even one piece of one of its fruits. Chaya manyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayamatape phalani cha pararthaya vriksha satpurusha iva. Our Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu has given the example of the grass for humility and tree for tolerance. That how the grass is so wonderful. It is the grass which is eaten by the cow, and the cow gives the milk, and the milk keeps human civilization going. Traditionally, of course, now we have a different culture altogether. But when Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu spoke this words, socially, contextually, if you see, even from Krishna's perspective, Krishna being in Gokul, which is the family and the village of cows, Nanda Maharaj's family business was based on milk. And milk comes from the cows, and the cows eat grass. So the grass is what is keeping the whole civilization going. But Trinadapi Sunichena means the grass is so valuable. With that, you can make huts. With that, you can make kutir for sadhus. With that, the cows are eating, cows are giving milk. And with that milk, Krishna's whole family business is going on. Even an insignificant grass can offer so much service. But my Lord, my life is wasted. Manushya janma paiya, Radha Krishna na bhajiya, janiya shunya bisha khainu, hari hari bifale janam agavainu. When Narottam Das Thakur is weeping that my life has gone waste, I have not even seen Radha and Krishna, what to speak of offering service. Grass life is much better. The grass in Vrindavan sustained Krishna's, Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father's whole family business. And so many sadhus in Vrindavan have done bhajan with the roof of grass and hay. The grass is also offering so much service. Mahaprabhu taught us to feel, to self-deprecate ourselves and pray that, look, my Lord, you're taking so much service from grass. Grass is offering so much service. But look, I am thinking I am so great, but I can't offer even an insignificant service to you. Even if I keep a cup of water for offering, I am keeping it because I am thirsty. So I'll just offer it so that there's no karma and I'm drinking. Even if I keep some fruit for offering, I put tulsi and just chant some mantras and bow down, and like 2 minutes, the kids I've seen as their mom, they're like, cracking their fingers and saying, Mama, can I take the offering? Especially if it's pizza or pasta, the kids really like they want to speeden up the offering time. So we should self-deprecate and ask and pray to Krishna that even offering of fruits and flowers and water, I don't do with affection. But the grass is sustaining so much seva. And also when you stamp on the grass, it goes down, but it comes back again. But when we are corrected by someone, we go down only to pounce back at them. But my Lord, my life is so reckless. I am not learning lessons even from a grass. Then what to speak of a tree? Chaya manyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayamatape. Grass is the most. Mahaprabhu starts from the grass and goes to the tree in the Trinadapi Sunishena example. And look at the tree. How amazing. What practice of humility. It is standing in the heat. For a few years, I lived in a place called Minnesota in America. It's a little close to Chicago. Very cold. You can type and see Minnesota, the state of Minnesota. Very cold. Very, very cold. So the trees in Minnesota, can you imagine how they stand in the winter? Or think of the trees and the shrubs in the state of Arizona in America, where it's very hot in summer. The trees are standing in the heat and still give shade for everyone around. And the fruits that come, they're also for the people who are sitting in the shade. And those people sit there. Why? Because they're tired. Why? Because they've been busy cutting the same branch from the same tree. They are cutting with their axe the branches of the same tree, and now they need something to eat and some place to sit. So they're sitting in the shade by the tree and eating the fruit of the tree, and only to get rejuvenated and start cutting again. The tree keeps quiet. How much humility, how much tolerance. How can I say, without any semblance of humility and tolerance, how can we say we are very experienced in devotion? How is it possible? Not possible. To hold something very valuable, you need a golden cup. Let's say if you're getting a Kohinoor diamond, you have to hold it you can't put it in a plastic bag. You have to put it in a gold cup, pure gold, because it's worth. It must be something that's worthy as a receptacle to hold that costly thing. Krishna Bhakti or Krishna Prem is 1,000,000 times more costly and valuable than Kohinoor, because Kohinoor doesn't attract Krishna, but Bhakti attracts Krishna. And that Bhakti Kohinoor can be held only in the gold pot called humility. No other way. Any other attitude, there is no way around this third verse of Shikshashtakam. There is no other way. There is no other way. We could be building many, many temples. We could be preaching and bringing many people to Bhakti. We could be chanting hundreds and thousands of rounds. We could be attending millions of Mangalartis. We could be brahmachari or sannyasi for 1,000,000 lifetimes. But if there is no humility in our heart, if there is no prayerful mood, putting everyone ahead, self-sacrifice for the pleasure of others, not considering oneself worthy of anything, whatever is there, it is only Krishna's mercy. If this mood is not there, then it is only chhal, kapat. It will not actually bring in the mercy of Krishna. Diner adhika daya kare Bhagavan, pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman. Our Chaitanya Charitamrita has answers to all questions. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is described, Diner adhika daya kare Bhagavan. Krishna showers mercy only on those who are humble. Even if one is completely disqualified and unqualified from a material perspective, if one is dipped in the mood of humility because of devotion, not fake, not speaking on the tongue, Prabhu, I am just the servant of your servant, not writing in the email that please accept me as an insignificant dust particle at the lotus feet of one of your maidservants. And then in the middle, after please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and at the end, writing, I just want to be the dust at your lotus feet. If in the middle there is fighting and criticism and dishum, then what's the point? What's the point? Humility is not the body bowing down alone. Humility is body bowing down because of the mind bowing down. Seeing everyone better than others. Seeing the presence of Krishna in everybody's heart. And all Acharyas have exemplified this. This is not something that is a self-concocted new theory. It is age-old. Sripad Bilva Mangala Thakur has written, He Deva, He Daita, He Bhuvanaika Bandho, He Krishna, He Chapala, He Karunaika Sindho, He Natha, He Ramana, He Nayana Abhirama, Ha Ha Kada Anubhavitasi Padam Drishavarmi. Bilva Mangala Thakur was netrahin. He was without material vision. Of course, he gave vision to the whole world through his songs and through his compositions. Even our Shachinandan Gaurahari would relish the works of Sripad Bilva Mangala Thakur. So that Bilva Mangala Thakur is saying, my Lord, He Deva, He Daita, He Bhuvanaika Bandho. 9 names of Krishna are invoked. And he says, Ha ha, Kadanu Bhavitasi Padam Drishorme. I am so unqualified that I can't even see you. When will that day be mine, when you will shower mercy on this insignificant soul? Dipped in humility. Our Kaviraj Goswami Pad, Je mora naam shune tar punyak chhay. Je mora naam laye tar papa hoy. Dekho. He's saying, Je mora naam shune. Anybody who hears my name, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Acha, you can hear Krishna Naam, by hearing what does Bhagavatam say? Yan Nama Shruti Matrena Puman Bhavati Nirmala. 9th canto Bhagavatam says by hearing Krishna. Alam 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 eka praninam patakanam nirasana vishayeya Krishna Krishneti Vani yadi bhavati mukunde bhaktirananda sandra. Even Mukundamala Stotra Kulashekar Alvar has said, if you just hear the word Krishna, enough, all sins will run away. Just like the roaring of a lion will make the wolves and hyenas and jackals run away, the name Krishna will drive away all the sins. But what is our Kaviraj Goswami Pad, whose name is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? He's saying, Mora Jai Naam Shunetara Punya Chhad. Oh, if you hear my name, all your punya will leaf. And Moraje naam loy, and anybody who says my name, tar papa hoy. Usko paap lagega. Definitely, he will become filled with sin. Kaviraj Goswami Pada writes. So I asked my Guru Maharaj, Krishna's name, Shastra says, is most powerful. And our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pada is saying, oh, anybody who takes my name, they will become completely contaminated. Which one to believe? I asked my Guru Maharaj. Shastra says, if you chant Krishna's name, sins run away. The sins are like snakes which get burnt in the forest fire of Krishna now. But here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad is saying, Moraje naam shunne tara punyak hoy, Moraje naam loye tara papa hoy. So my Guru Maharaj said, both are correct. Krishna is saying the truth, and Kaviraj Goswami Pad is saying the truth dipped in his vision because of humility. कृष्ण नाम लेंगे तो फिर तरेंगे, पर क्या करूं, मैं इतना पतित हूं, मेरा नाम कोई लेगा तो वो पापी हो जाएगा, ऐसे. My Guru Maharaj said the yardstick is completely different. In the sense, in our world, if someone is remembering Krishna, let's say 2 hours a day because of chanting 16 rounds, they will think, oh, in the generation where nobody is chanting, I am chanting 2 hours, I am very senior devotee. But pure Vaishnavas, they are in the association of those who are 24 hours crying and weeping, ah, Krishna, ah, Krishna. So for 1 minute, if there is forgetfulness because of Laukik Dharma, they will think, oh, I am most fallen. Because their yardstick is different. They are comparing to whom? Other pure Vaishnavas. Like Rupa Goswami Pada in the Padyavali, he writes, actually in this Tavamala, in his composition, he writes that when I think of Dhruva Maharaj, I feel my bhakti has not even begun. Rupa Goswami Pada is writing. He's saying at the age of 5, in the middle of the forest, he was ready to stand on one leg, giving up food, giving up water, even giving up his breath to chant Harinam. And to attain what? Vaikuntha. And here I am, Rupa Goswami Pada is saying, I am drinking Yamuna water and I am eating, I am not standing on one leg, and I am not controlling my breath. And I am thinking, by my chanting, I will attain Radha and Krishna. He says, I am nowhere. Self-deprecating nature. Not just to imitate. Sometimes we just say that, no, Prabhuji, it's all your glory. I don't know anything. But in the heart, it's roaring desire for glory. When someone says, Prabhu, you're so special. No, Prabhuji, it's all, all Vaishnava. But in the heart is saying, thank you. You have attained Krishna's grace. You have realized who I am. And I want you to share my glories to everyone. But if we say like this, then they will think, oh, this person is so proud and wants it like that. So then there is deceit that comes first and says, oh, fake humility. With this, we will not get Krishna. Chal kapata tyag dije, Guru ji ki seva kije. This is the principle. We have to give up duplicity and serve senior Vaishnavas to attain this humility. Titikshava karunika surida sarvadehinam ajata shatrava shanta sadhava sadhu bhushan. True humility will come as a medal, just like the Paramveer Chakra comes, given by the government. We can't steal it. We can't go and then say, let me steal the Bharat Ratna, let me steal the Paramveer Chakra. Not possible. We have to act in such a way that the government is pleased and they lovingly, willingly, voluntarily, they offer it. So these are awards: humility, tolerance, forgiveness, compassion. These are all awards in Krishna's kingdom. It is under Krishna's decision. We have to act and serve Vaishnavas and genuinely chant and read and hear and remember Krishna and serve him with all sincerity, so that the government called Radha Krishna will be pleased, and someday they will offer. And when they offer, one will not realize, because humility and being aware of one's humility, they don't go together. One cannot be humble and be aware of that. That's counterintuitive. It doesn't work like that. If one thinks one is very humble, then it's not actually true. And if one is actually humble, one will think I am very deceitful. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Totally opposite to this world. In this world, You have to promote yourself. You have to advertise yourself. You have to market yourself. If the product is this much, you have to show that it's this much. Fake it, lie, cheat your clients and customers and beat the competitive market and come ahead. And even if the team does something good, you take the credit because you're the leader. And if you make mistakes, well, the team made a mistake. I don't know. I just passed on the email and they had to take action. This world works on just pushing the buck on others. But spiritual life is not like that. In spiritual life, whatever good one has, one says, actually, it is only Krishna's mercy. Like Srila Prabhupada. You can read Srila Prabhupada's letters from 1968 to 1977. Every year, there is at least one letter you will find where Srila Prabhupada says, all of the credit goes to my Guru Maharaj. As early as 1967-68, Srila Prabhupada says, whatever is preaching is going on, the credit goes to my Guru Maharaj. Actually, when the Mayapur temple was opened, think about it. This was like a big success in Srila Prabhupada's preaching. A Vaishnav leaves Calcutta and goes to Boston and preaches around the whole world and then brings all of them back to Navadvip and builds a big temple. It's like the best that can happen, right? And there in that grand opening, Srila Prabhupada writes, you can read the transcript of Prabhupada's class. Srila Prabhupada says, actually, I am not qualified to lead any of you. Srila Prabhupada says, although the disciple considers the spiritual master to be as good as God, the spiritual master never thinks himself to be God. In fact, he considers his disciples to be his spiritual masters. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he used to call his disciples Prabhu. Amar Prabhu, Amar Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada said, actually, all of you have been sent by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, planted in different parts of the world to preach this mission of Sankirtan because you all have been assisting Mahaprabhu over lifetimes. I am unqualified to lead any of you. This was Srila Prabhupada's heart-melting humility. Not taking credit for one's activities. Whatever good is happening, seeing one just to be an instrument. Nimitta matram bhava sabhya shachi. Arjuna never took credit. He said, oh, it's all Krishna. In fact, in Queen Kunti's prayers, you can see Queen Kunti calls Krishna, Shri Krishna Krishna Krishna, Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishrisha Bhavani Drig, Rajanya Vamsha Dhaganana Pavarga Virya, Govinda Godvija Surarti Haravatara, Yogeshwara Akhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Queen Kunti calls Arjun as Krishna. Quite interesting. We know Arjun is Arjun and Krishna is Krishna. But in Queen Kunti's prayer, last prayer, I think it's text 42, I believe 42 or 43, chapter 8 of the Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam. Queen Kunti calls Krishna as Krishna Sakha, which means the friend of Krishna. So how can Krishna be the friend of Krishna? Oh, because that Krishna refers to Arjun. She's calling out to Krishna as the friend of Arjun. But the name she uses for Arjun is Krishna. Why? Because Arjun was so selfless. If Krishna says shoot the arrow, he will shoot the arrow. If Krishna says don't shoot the arrow, he will not shoot the arrow. If Krishna says stop fighting, he will stop fighting. If Krishna says fight, he will fight. Which means Arjuna moves according to what Krishna wants anyway. So if this hand does what I want, then this hand is in connection to me. So if this is Arjun and this is Krishna, Krishna is directing Arjun. So then Arjuna is seen as none different from Krishna. This is humility, to see oneself as an insignificant, transparent, via medium. Krishna kara rahe hain, Guru Maharaj kara rahe hain, pata nahi mujhse kaise ho raha hai, main nahi kar raha kuch. One should never think that one is worthy of respect. One should never think like that. Actually, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur would give a very beautiful story. In Bengal, you know, Durga Puja is a big celebration. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur would say one time for Durga Puja, a deity of Durga was kept on the back of a donkey. And the donkey was coming with the deity of Durga on the back, and the pujari was worshipping. There was big aarti going on, and the Matajis are all going, there's Ulu Dhwani going on, welcoming Durga Devi, and there's Chamar, and there's singing, and there's Rangoli, and there's flowers being offered. And the donkey thinks, wow, Bengal is the place for me. What has never happened in the history of donkey kind, not mankind, but donkey kind, has happened now. The donkey, Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur says the story. The donkey thought, look, this rangoli, this singing, this dancing, this welcoming, these crackers, this song, the mantras, the yajna is all for me. And the donkey thought, I haven't even started to sing yet. And this is the welcome. What if I sing and dance? Wow! The donkey says, in front of all my fans, now I will start to sing. The donkey starts to sing and lifts its back hind legs and starts to jump and try to dance, and the deity of Durga falls. The donkey just proved that he was a donkey. Everything stopped. People started taking sticks and starting hitting the donkey. The donkey was thinking, envious people. They can't hold how much talent one person can have. They're trying to hit me. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur would say, this is the state of a proud person. Eager to take credit where it doesn't belong. The donkey was not being worshipped, but he was included in the worship because he was carrying Durga Devi on his back. The living entity gets respect in this world because of carrying Krishna in the heart, being empowered by Sri Guru. But if the donkey-like living entity thinks, I am worthy of respect, I am great, I am better than others, then it's only time that the deity will fall off, which means Krishna will remove empowerment and everyone will actually see the donkeyness in us and whip us with the stick of criticism. This is very important. Actually, Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had a disciple by the name Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, a godbrother of Srila Prabhupada. He was one of the longest living disciples of Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. He lived up to the age of 102. On his 99th appearance, Vyasa Puja, devotees from all around the world came to Jagannath Puri to worship this very great saint who started chanting many rounds, I think more than 64 rounds, right from the time he was 21 when he met Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, and he was now 99. So you can imagine, for the last 78 years, he's been chanting Hare Krishna, millions and millions of names, and so humble, sannyasi, right from childhood. So when disciples around the world came and they started offering garlands, he was weeping on the 99th Vyasa Puja. He was weeping and he said, actually, all these garlands are going on the neck of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. He said, in the village, you can see that sometimes there are big statues, like many freedom fighters. You can have different freedom fighters. They're public statues in the village. And sometimes, this was the example given by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri. He would say, sometimes you can see a dog sleeps at the feet of this statue all night, curled, cuddling around the leg of the statue because of cold. And in the morning when the dog wakes up, he sees some flower petals on his head from the garland which was offered to the deity or the vigraha of the politician or the freedom fighter. Srila Puri Maharaj said, I feel like that. Ami Prabhupadero kukurero kukur is what he said. I am Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur's dog. And actually flower garlands are being offered to him, but because I am sitting at his feet, some flowers are falling on my head. This is the extent of humility. Kaviraj Goswami Pad in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Purushera kita hoite muise laghishta, Jagai madhai hoite muise papishta. He said, I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. Jagai and Madhai never chanted the holy name, so no nama aparad. Never associated with Vaishnava, so no Vaishnava aparad. Never worshipped the deity, no seva aparad. But look at me, Kaviraj Goswami says, I am dipped in offenses. Mat samo nasti papatma, na paradi chakaschana. Parihare kim bhruve purushottame. Parihare pi lajjame kim bhruve purushottam. This Rupa Goswami Pad said when he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mat samo nasti papatma. O Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is nobody as fallen as me. And na aparadi cha kaschana. There is no offender like me. Parihare pi lajjame kim bhrave purushottam. If I stand in front of you and start saying what I have done, I feel so embarrassed. So better I keep quiet. I don't know what I should do. So in this mood, Kaviraj Goswami Pad is saying, I have committed so many offenses that even Jagai and Madai have not committed. I am lower than trash on the street and I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai. He has written like this. All our acharyas are in the state of self-deprecating nature. Now, here is an interesting catch. By self-deprecating oneself, one doesn't become an acharya. This self-deprecating nature arises naturally because of glorifying the Lord. When you stand on the shore of an ocean and you see the tides and the quality and quantity of the oceanic waves, one feels so insignificant. Right? It is because of being on the shore of the ocean. So to the extent one comes to the shore of the ocean of bhakti, seeing the waves of Krishna's karuna, one feels I am so insignificant. I have no good qualities. Kichu nahi mora guna, Gopinath, mama nivedana shuno. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written like this. Kichu nahi mora guna, I have no good qualities. যোগ্যতা বিচারে কিছু নাহি পায় তোমার করুণা সার করুণা না হইলে কান্দিয়া কান্দিয়া প্রাণ না রাখিব আর ভক্তি অনুকূল ভাব কার্যের স্বীকার ভক্তি প্রতিকূল ভাব বর্জন অঙ্গীকার दैन्य आत्मनिवेदन गोप्तृत्वे वरण अवश्य रक्षिबे कृष्ण विश्वास पालन षडंग शरणागति हुईवे जहार तहारा प्रार्थना सुने श्रीनंद कुमार कांदिया कांदिया बोले आमी तो अधम शिखाओ शरणागति करोय उत्तम. I am just collecting different verses and different quotations from different acharyas because I have no realization. So I am just trying to bring as a waiter whatever the chef have offered from the kitchen of their realization. I am simply bringing because I don't know what humility looks like. I have not experienced. It is beyond my experience. So I am simply sharing what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said. He said, my Lord, in old age I am crying and weeping. My life has gone waste. I have no bhakti in my heart. Oh Gopinath, you are so kind. You are the uplifter of the fallen and I am the most fallen. You please uplift me. Even Narottam Das Thakur has sung, Gauranga karuna karo, ami dinahina jane, moshama patita prabhu, nahi tribhuvan. Oh Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you are called Patita Pavan, correct? I am Patit, you are Patita Pavan, then why you are not uplifting me? I am fallen and you are savior of the fallen. If you don't uplift me, Kishera Lagilia, Patita Pavan and Nama Kishera Lagia. Narottam Das Thakur says, if you cannot uplift me, who gave you the name Patita Pavan? So he is kind of blackmailing through sarcasm that your name Patita Pavan should be taken off because you're not uplifting me. Please uplift me. Not just in the Gaudiya Parampara, even in other sampradayas, you can see Srila Yamunacharya has written a whole book called as Stotra Ratna. It is only filled with humility, prayers in humility, utter humility, glorifying the Lord and seeing that how my life is getting wasted and I have no good qualities. Like this. Because it is a fact that only the meek and humble inherit the kingdom of God. We have heard this from Jesus in the Bible. Only the meek and humble inherit the kingdom of God. Let's see, through magnetism, we see opposite poles attract and similar poles repel. So Krishna is already great. If we think we are also great, it will repel mercy. It will not attract mercy. Krishna is the greatest magnet, right? So magnetism works there. So Krishna is great. And when we think we are the most wretched, oh, that brings in the current of mercy. You can see even in the potential difference, voltage difference, right? Same principle. Let's think about pressure difference. Cyclones are created because of pressure difference. Krishna's high pressure. And when Vaishnava are thinking they are low pressure, oh, that's when there is a cyclone of kripa, cyclone of mercy. So this must be developed. This definitely must be developed. In other sampradayas, we can see like Surdas ji, for example. Classic example. Goswami Surdas ji is very famous. Everybody has heard his greatness, lived in Vrindavan, and Netrahin Surdas was his name. So Surdas ji has also written in this regard. In utter humility, Goswami Surdas ji has written glorifying the Lord. He sings, Mosam kaun kutil khalkami. Surdas ji was Netrahin. He was without vision right from childhood. And he writes, my Lord, Mosam kaun kutil khalkami. Who is that person in the whole creation who equals me in kutilta, in crookedness, khala, in wickedness, and kami, in lust? उनको नेत्र नहीं है, वो कहां से कुटिलता, कहां से काम. पर वैष्णव का हृदय देखिए. He sings, मौसम कौन कुटिल खल कामी, मौसम कौन कुटिल खल कामी, तुम सो कहां छिपे करुणामय, तुम सो कहां छिपे करुणा, सब जीव अंतर्यामी, मौसम कौन कुटिल खल कामी. My Lord, you are hiding in everybody's life as Paramatma, but in my life, even your mercy is hiding. You are not even showering mercy in my life. Bhari bhari udar vishaya ko dhave. He says, how is my life? Bhari bhari udar. Just wake up in the morning and eat 3 times a day, and vishayo ko dhave, and run behind making more money, and run behind fulfilling all relationships, and run behind paying off the house, and run behind doing other things and eating and seeing TV, like in our life. He says, bhari bhari udar vishay ko dhave, jaise sukar grami. Just like a village hog. Surdas is writing, like a village hog, I am only eating and sleeping and running behind enjoyment. Mosam kaun kutil khal kami. Who can be more crooked than me? Acha, why crooked than you? He says, Nar tan diye tahi bisrayo, aise namak harami, मौसम कौन कुटिल खल कामी. नर तन दिए ताही बिसरायो. जिसने मुझे नर तन दिया, मैं उन्हीं को भूल गया प्रभु. The person who gave me this human form, I have forgotten him. ऐसे नमक हरामी. I am such a ungrateful servant. The Lord who's feeding me, I am eating and kicking the plate and forgetting who has cooked. Naratan diye tahi bisrayo, aise namak harami, mosam kaun kutil khalikam. And then he writes ahead, Surdas ke sabhi avidya दूर करो नंदलाल, अब मैं नाचो बहुत गोपाल. हे गोपाल, मैं बहुत नाच चुका इस जगत में. I have been dancing in 8.4 million species, sometimes as a dog and sometimes as a pig and sometimes as a pigeon and sometimes as a demigod. I have been dancing in different forms on the stage of this world. अब मैं थक गया प्रभु. I am now tired. सूरदास के सभी अविद्या दूर करो नंदलाल, नाचो बहुत गोपाल, अब मैं नाचो बहुत गोपाल. Crying and weeping in devotion. Oh my Lord, please. सूर पतित को ठौर कहां से, सुनिए श्रीपति स्वामी. Oh Shripati Swami, oh Krishna, the Lord of Radharani, please listen to me. Apart from your lotus feet, I have no shelter. The world is saying you belong to us, but I know they don't belong to me. And the Lord to whom I belong, he is not looking at me. My Lord, I am an orphan. Where will I go? This is Dhinata. When there is one thing you want in life and you don't get it, how can you be proud? How can you be proud? If there are 10 things you want and you get 9 out of them and you don't get one, there is pride for getting 9. But there's one thing you want in life, that is Krishna, and you're not getting. Where is pride? What have we achieved? One feels like a dwarf. Human form is only about 10 seconds time. And one feels like a dwarf in one's ability, and one has to jump and touch the moon of Krishna Prem. I am not getting it. My Lord, oh moon, I am not able to touch you. Please, you shower your moonbeams on me. Mahaprabhu cried like this. Premera swabhav jaha premera sambandha nahi mora prema gandha. Mahaprabhu said, na prema gandhosti. I don't have Krishna Prem. Then Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai was saying, if you don't have Krishna Prem, then how come you're crying and weeping? Mahaprabhu says, oh, that is only show. Don't believe me. I have no Prem. Then they said, give us a proof that you have no Prem. Mahaprabhu said, look, the golden fish, when it is in the blue waters, it is happy. But when you take it out of the blue waters of the ocean, it will flip and flap and flip and flap, and the golden fish will leave its body. I am like a golden fish searching for the blue waters of Shamasundar, and I am outside, and I am not even flipping and flapping, and I have been alive for so many years. What kind of Prem is this? What kind of Prem? There is no Prem like this. And this Mahaprabhu was getting from Srimati Radharani, of course. I want to conclude with two topics connected to humility. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad has very clearly defined what dainyam or what karpanyam is. After all this discussion, it's a very nice wrap up to the definition and to understanding what humility is about. Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad, he says, Bhagavan raksha rakshaivam artha bhavena sarvatah asamurdhva daya sindho harer karunya vaibhavam Smaratan cha visheshena nija ati shochya nichatam bhaktanam artha bhavastu karpanyam kathyate buddhi. Definition of humility. What is karpanyam? Three things, he said. First, at all times saying, Bhagavan Rakshama, oh Krishna, please protect me. Apart from you, I have nobody. First. Second, Karunya Vaibhavam. Hearing and getting attracted, reading, hearing and getting attracted to Krishna's qualities and Krishna's love for his devotees. Second. And third, always feeling on my own, I have no good qualities. Always reflecting that before I came to bhakti, what was I doing? Where would I have gone? What was the language I was speaking? What was I eating? How was I living? If I would have lived like that, where would I have gone? If my Gurudev wouldn't have helped me, if Prabhupada's books wouldn't have helped me, if Krishna's mercy wouldn't have touched me, where would I have gone? This is the third point. And the second point is, therefore, how merciful Krishna is, how merciful Sri Guru is, how merciful Srila Prabhupada is. Always appreciating our past, Krishna's mercy, and therefore a prayerful mode. My Lord, please always protect me. Always make sure that I never forget you. Om Kritosmara Kritam Smara Kritosmara Kritam Smara. Vayor Anilam Amritam Atheta Basmantam Shariram Om Kritosmara Kritam Smara Kritosmara Kritam Smara. Ishoparisha. Always to keep thinking of these 3 points. And then Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad has said there is one more aspect to humility on the practical front. He says, Yena asadharana asakta adhama buddhi sadatmani Sarva utkarshan vitepi syad buddhaista dainyamishyate yaya vache hiya dainyam matyacha sthairya etatad tam yatnena bhajet vidvan tad viruddhani varjayet. That is also included in humility. What is that? Yena asadharana asakta adhama buddhi sadatmani. Although sarva utkarsha van anvita, always, although one is filled with all good qualities, a pure Vaishnava, they always see good in others and don't see any good in themselves. And if they see any good in themselves, they see that that good quality has been kept in me. It's not mine. Those are borrowed plumes of a peacock. They belong to the peacock. They don't belong to me. They always see the hand of Guru and Krishna in that. They have kept their own quality in me. Empowerment or doing. They are doing it. Like Prabhupada said, above me, my Gurudev is blessing me. And here with me, Mahaprabhu's associates are all coming and assisting. I am not qualified to lead. Although one is full of good qualities. One is seeing good qualities in others, everyone except oneself. And at the same time, through words, through thoughts, and through actions, one is always following the example of pure Vaishnavas and never deviating from their path. This is humility. If one is only speaking, yes, I am more fallen, I am this and that, but one is not chanting. One is doing whatever one wants to. One is eating ice cream. One is watching football and saying, I am very unqualified. That is not the test. That is not the success in the test. So to put it in simple words, point number one should understand where one was without the protection of Guru and Krishna. Point number two, one's heart should melt hearing the transcendental qualities and pastimes of Krishna's mercy and Acharya's mercy and Guru's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy. And third, although one is bedecked with all good qualities, one sees only good qualities in others, and whatever is there in oneself, one gives credit with all one's heart to one's superior. Fourth, through thought, word, and deed, one follows the example of previous acharyas in chanting, reading, hearing, associating, etc. Fifth, one never does things which are Shastra Viruddha. One never tad viruddhani varjayet. One gives up things which are detrimental to bhakti. And sixth, and most important, Bhagavan raksha rakshaivam. One is always praying, my Lord, please protect me, please protect me. One is in a prayerful mode all time. So these 6 things are put together, defined in Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Srila Sanatana Goswami as humility. And finally, I want to, the last point in the discussion, some practical things that one can practice is never to glorify oneself in public, never to take opportunity to push oneself ahead of others and put others down, make fun of others, find faults with others, and somehow take credit for others' good qualities and push one's failure or some lack of responsibility to push the buck on someone else. To think that why people are not giving me the respect that I deserve, why they are not appreciating, why they are not acknowledging, why I am senior, I came before, I got initiated before, why they're not respecting me. All of these thoughts should be given up on a practical front. And to chant as much possible, to read about Krishna as much possible, to always be in a prayerful mood, and to pray to Krishna, my Lord, please kick away any trace of pride. You please do the surgery, however painful it may be. You give me the strength to tolerate, and you take all the garbage out of my heart. In the Gita, we can see in the 13th chapter, Krishna gives a list of things which are categorized as knowledge, and he gives humility there. Then you can see in the 5th chapter, when Krishna talks about Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, he says Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, knowledge imbued with humility as a quality of a Brahmana. Then in the 16th chapter, when Krishna talks about divine and demoniac qualities, talks about humility. And in the demoniac quality, Krishna talks about arrogance and pride. So repeatedly we can see so many places this has been mentioned. And practically we can see in the life of our Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, how much exemplary acts, words, actions have been demonstrated for all of us to learn. So these are some principles one must sincerely pray to Krishna. Janma Ishwarya Shruta Shri Bhiyedamana Madapuman Naibhar Hatya Vidhatum Vaitvam Akinchana Gocharam. Queen Kunti has said, except for humility, nothing else attracts Krishna. Everything else that adds weight of pride, it's like throwing poison in kheer. We may do kirtan, which is like sweet kheer or rabdi. But then if there is pride, look, everyone's appreciating my voice and my harmonium and my mridanga, and the mic is projecting my voice so sweetly, it's filling the air and entering everyone's ear holes. Then we have won the battle and lost the war. We have won the egoistic battle and lost the war against Maya. Maya has successfully won, made us do kirtan and still kept us under her. Better is to just clap our hands with some qualified devotees and we just sit and chant in front of the deities. That will purify our heart faster. So in every act, we should be self-conscious that, am I doing this to please Guru and Krishna, or am I doing this to put myself ahead? So many things are So many things are filling my heart at this point. I just want to say one story, if that's okay. There was one god brother of Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj who came to Srila Radhanath Maharaj and glorified a singer, disciple of Maharaj. Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj has many disciples. Of course, one disciple was being glorified in this case for his singing. And this god brother of Srila Radhanath Maharaj said, this devotee, he sings so well, Maharaj. Have you heard him? I tell my disciples to hear and learn bhajans from him. And Maharaj said, oh yes, he's a wonderful Vaishnava and he sings very well. But Maharaj didn't say anything. And then after a week or so, the god brother got to know that actually this was a disciple of Srila Radhanath Maharaj and said, Maharaj, you never told me he's your disciple. So Maharaj said, actually, he is not my disciple. He considers me to be his guru, but I don't see him as my disciple. So this way, the spiritual master serves the disciple by taking up the humble service of being the guru. He's seeing the disciple also as his spiritual master and serving him in the capacity of guru. So humility is practiced in all walks of life by everyone at all times. Of course, this is all theory from my side. Now I'm going to pause and offer my obeisances. Please, everyone, forgive me. Those who know me very well, those who know me closely, they will laugh at the joke that I was speaking all this while on humility. Those who know me really well, they will laugh. Trust me, they will laugh because anyway, yeah. I don't want to get into details, but I just want to mention that all of you, please forgive me. And if I overspoke, and please pray for me that whatever I'm speaking, hopefully I will try to imbibe and remember this. I have seen in my life, it's very easy to just prepare and speak a class, but when actually situations come, then my true face comes out. And then it's even more embarrassing because then you feel 1 hour ago you gave a class on humility and look, Krishna has given a tight slap on the face and look, your Kaliya head came out. So anyway, all of you, please pray for me. Don't cheat me. Please pray for me. Please bless me. Pray to Radha Krishna. Please pray to Gaur Nitai. Please pray to Prabhupada that at least a drop of what I'm saying may I be able to imbibe. And especially when life tests, when Maya pinches with the most provoking, agitating situations, may I be able to take shelter of Krishna and take shelter of the higher principle and kind of snub the lower nature to react and to be agitated. So all of you, please pray for me. Vancha kalpatarubhishcha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very, very grateful that you actually spoke on this wonderful topic and gave so many wonderful examples. And especially the donkey example. I could really relate to that example. So do you still have some more time, Prabhuji, to answer some questions?
Absolutely, Prabhuji. I don't know if I have the answers, but I have time to sit and see all of you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the devotees, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. And then, yeah, so already some hands have got raised. Okay, Jeetam Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hi, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot for such an amazing speech. So humble to hear and get some of it.
Jeetam Prabhuji, we are not able to hear you properly.
Hello, can you hear me better?
Yes.
Thank you, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What I was saying is so humble and truly honored to get some of your time today, and thank you. I just had a quick question, and that was on the practical front. That in today's such a fast-paced world in Kali Yuga, how do we practice, like when you mentioned that we need to practice humility, yeah, in some instances, but let's say in our job front, or how do we kind of do that? Let's say when you're going for an interview or things like that, we do that, right? We do portray ourselves greater than what the qualities or skills that we are having, but if we really practice humility, we might miss out on that job, or we might miss out on the opportunity. So how do we kind of practice that in the practical front? That was my question. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So humility is not inferiority complex, but humility is honesty. And even the outside world really appreciates employees who are very honest and dedicated and hardworking. So let's say if you are very focused at work, you see your job, you see your service that you're doing as something that you can offer to Krishna. Like, for example, let's say if you're working for 8 hours, you can put an alarm on your phone that every 1 hour when the phone beeps, you will say Hare Krishna Mahamantra just once. So 8 hours that you're at work, you go to work, you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare at 8 o'clock. Then when it beeps 9, you say that once, and then 10 once, and 11 once, and of course, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, up to let's say 5 o'clock. So sitting in that chair while doing your work, about 10 times, let's say for 10 hours, you have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which nobody would have done in that workspace. That's one. Apart from that, before you start for the day, you say, Krishna, in this situation that I'm there today, this is not Maya. The money that I'm getting out of this work, I'm paying for the house, and the family members are all sitting together and doing kirtan and doing preaching. So this work has been assigned to me by you. I want to offer whatever I'm going to do today at your lotus feet. And in the middle, every 1 hour, you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra once. And at the end of work, you're saying, my Lord, whatever mistakes I may have done in my service today, please forgive me. Whatever I've done in the last 10 hours, I offer it with all honesty at your lotus feet. 2 people around, without competing and trying to outwit them, you be focused, you give your 100%, be honest, be hardworking and dedicated. Everyone loves employees like that. These virtues, it doesn't mean you go to work and say, "Main itna papi hu, pata nahi ye job mujhe kaise mila." This is not humility. This is negativity. Humility means being very honest. If someone says in an interview, for example, if they say, "Do you know this?" It's cheating to say, "Well, I'm an expert at it," if you don't know, right? But honesty and humility would mean, at the moment, I don't know, but I'm very capable. If I put in hard work, I think I will be able to solve it. This is the answer that even in the interview, they like to hear. They don't like to have people who are know-it-all. You know, I know this, I have this experience. It's like, okay, get going. You deserve something better than what we're offering. But if you say, I don't have experience at this platform, but I think in a month or so, I think with hard work and dedication, I think I'll be comfortable with it. I have not done it in the past, but trusting the problem-solving ability in the past, I think I will be able to do it. You're just being honest. And you're depending on Krishna's grace. Krishna is giving you the intelligence. And you're connecting with Krishna at every point. That, my Lord, you please help me. I am stuck at this point. I don't know how to troubleshoot. I don't know how to debug this software program. But you please give me the intelligence. You please help me where I am stuck. And you're sincerely trying. So a devotee is not just a devotee at the temple, but he's a devotee of Krishna round the clock. He's a devotee at work. He's a devotee at the temple. He's a devotee at home. He's a devotee at the relative's place. Because that is what he is in his heart. He's not putting up a show. In the temple, he may have dhoti and kurta and tilak and kantimala. But at work, let's say if he just has kantimala and everything else has changed, but the heart still remains the same. Reversals are coming at work. He will say, what is Krishna trying to teach me here? How do I use Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in this situation? If Rupa Goswami Pad was here, if Srila Prabhupada was sitting on this chair, how would he manage? He would not say, I am so fallen, I don't know how I got this job. And he will never find Srila Prabhupada do that. Srila Prabhupada will say, okay, this is good, 10 hours. Let's work hard and make the money, and 50%, put in temple construction or 25% put it for book distribution, another 25% for Vaishnava Seva, etc. You're spiritualizing the whole experience. And without preaching through words, just by your actions, your colleagues will feel very inspired. They will say, this person is really a go-getter. He's very determined. He's punctual. He's determined. He never leaves tasks unfinished. He never takes credit. He's a team player. We want to know what's his success. Now, if you say, well, I meditate, we want to know more secrets. You see? So you're basically preaching through the character of a devotee without boasting and without throwing the flashy, extra colorful flavor on the resume.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a very practical answer. There are a few hands here. Kunjarani Mataji, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, thank you for such an amazing class, first of all. My question is that until we don't develop humility, like sometimes people, devotees come and say that Mataji, you are such a great devotee. Mataji, you did so, like said something like did an amazing class or something like that. So we can't fake it most of the time, and it's so difficult. So what should be our like move? What should we say?
Well, let's say if someone glorifies us for a wonderful garland that we made, then we can always say, thank you, Mataji. Actually, वो Mataji ने मुझे सिखाया था. मैं जब मंदिर आई थी, I didn't even know how to make garlands. But actually, you know this Mataji? She is the one who taught me my first garland. So I'm very grateful that Matajis and other Matajis have taught me. And you're just being honest here. You're not pushing the buck, but you're remembering the point. At a point when we came to the temple and we said, wow, the garlands are so beautiful, but we didn't know how to string them. But there was somebody who said, Mataji, you want some service? Aiye, baithiye, sit. There was someone who said, those are the flowers, and you take the petals out, and you take the smaller ones and you flip-flap them into smaller pieces, and then you string it through and you make these designs. And now you're appreciating the garland. Thank you, Mataji. But actually, ye Mataji ne mujhe sikhaya. This Mataji actually taught me. So what's happening is, you're remembering that Mataji. You're not saying no to this Mataji. You're not saying, nahi, Mataji, nahi, aisa kuch nahi hai. No. You're not negating. Negating is the flip side to saying, yes, it's me. Because hatred, aversion, and attachment go hand in hand. Raga and Dvesha are two sides. So if you say no, or if you say, yeah, it's the same thing. So we just have to be honest to say, thank you, Mataji. Actually, the credit goes to this Mataji. And let's say if someone says, let's say they say the class was very nice. Then you say, I actually prepared from this Prabhuji's class. I read this section of Srila Prabhupada's purport. And if you want, I can send you the original class. I just repeated. Mujhe zyada kuch pata nahi hai. I just repeated. You should hear that class. Like that. So we become invisible like salt. People may think we are adding value, but we should be invisible.
Thank you very
so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Prabhuji, I have a question. There are a few more hands as well, but I'll ask a question before them. Prabhuji, that donkeys example that you gave, I think most of the practical things that you mentioned, they are for the devotees who are trying to develop humility from like a normal state. But if someone is at that donkey's level, like me, that how can we actually from that point onwards, how they can reverse and come to the humility side?
True humility, actually, Brihad Bhagavatamrita describes that true humility is synonymous to devotion, to bhakti. More the devotion, more the humility. And more the humility, it invokes more devotion. And more the devotion, more the humility. And the example that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu gives in Chaitanya Charitamrita is hunger and food. He says, in this world, if someone is hungry and you honor prasad or you eat food, then this food finishes the hunger. And this hunger eats up and digests the food. So they cancel each other out. But in the spiritual sense, hunger for getting Krishna and the taste of Shravan and Kirtan, they actually nourish each other. They don't cancel out. Like the hunger, the thirst to get Krishna makes the process of tasting Shravan and Kirtan more tastier. And the more one tastes, the hunger increases that I want to taste more. So this humility hunger will come by tasting more devotion. More the devotion, more is the humility. So this must be understood. And also one more example can be given in this regard. Our heart is like the eye. Now I'm going to go two examples parallelly, just drawing parallels. We see in the eye, our eye is a very tender part of the body, very important part, very tender part. And at the same time, any agitation, any small speck that comes into the eye, there is irritation. The smallest that comes in, there is irritation. And to protect that, there are two ways. One, you have eyelids on the outside, and one, you have water content in the eye itself, which gushes out whatever impurity comes in. Our heart is like this. Our heart is like the eye. It is very tender and very soft. And there, the heart is very important, because just like the eyes give vision, the heart holds bhakti. And any impurity, smallest impurity that comes in, there is agitation in the heart, which is full of bhakti. Now, to kick it out, there are two ways. The eyelid in the form of Guru Sadhu Shastra, to make sure that that doesn't enter. And if it still does enter, then the water of humility which gushes it out from the heart, which is like the eye. So one must pray. One must sincerely pray to Krishna, my Lord, you protect me. मैं खुद से नहीं कर सकता. I cannot see you on my own accord. I cannot reach you on my own accord. Very wonderful example in this regard is, let's say if there is a child of there's a son of a basketball player. Now the basketball player is about 7'2" and the child is so small, he's like an infant or a toddler. Now his desire is to see the world from 7 feet 2 inches height, but he cannot. And he cannot climb on the shoulder of his father. So all that he can do is cry and do this. And when now the father lifts him, he climbs up and he sees the world. So we as children, we cannot climb up the shoulder of humility, because it's Krishna's quality, it's Krishna's height. All that we can do is cry. We can cry and express our desire. And when Krishna is impressed with our sincerity, he will lift it up. Sadhava sadhu bhushan. So we have to pray sincerely, and we have to do bhakti. We have to do bhajan. And in every circumstance, we should try as much as possible to not put ourselves ahead, to always perform menial services, to give credit to seniors, to always serve others, to genuinely hear and chant because we want to hear and chant, to be sincere in our japa, to be sincere in our kirtan, to be sincere in our deity worship, not to show off in our clothing or in our intellect or in our classes or in our kirtan or any services. Naki giving donation so that it is announced that I'm the biggest donor. No. All these things have to be given up. Kuti nati has to be given up. All this cheating has to be given up. And saralta hi vaishnavta. To chant, to hear, to read, to pray sincerely, my Lord, you please shower your mercy on me. I'm not seeing any hope. Vishwam gaura rase magnam sparshopi mama nabhavat. Vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi na samshaya. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati said, the whole world was dipped in Gaur Prem except me. My Lord, please have some mercy on me. Everybody who came in bhakti, they have come after, but look how much devotion, how much sincerity they are displaying. मैं वहीं का वहीं रह गया. Hey Prabhu, are you Patita Pavan and Karuna Sindhu and Deen Bandhu except one? You have it for everyone except me? Is that your condition? Why don't you shower mercy on me? So to sincerely pray and to perform bhakti, then that humility will rise.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll pray, but please pray for me as well, Prabhuji. Aparna Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Amarendra Prabhuji. It's a really great pleasure to have met you. And I have always been watching your videos and shows, and I feel so privileged that God gave us a chance when we can see you live and we can talk to you. So really, really, a lot of thanks. My question was around humility. So do you think humility, like a person can be born with humility, or this is something which we can develop with Krishna's mercy, or it is both the ways we can so what is your opinion about that, Prabhuji, in terms of humility as a quality? What do you say?
Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchane sarvai gunais tatra samasate sura Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena asati dhavato bahi. Shastra describes that when there is bhakti, Krishnaika sharanam, when there is devotion to Krishna, then just like with the sun, all the sun rays are self-manifest. Similarly, with the sun called Krishna Bhakti, or taking shelter of Krishna, the sun rays of all good qualities manifest in that person. So, is it possible for somebody to be born with humility? Yes, if they are born with devotion to Krishna. Yes. Humility and all these qualities are born with bhakti to the Supreme Lord. One cannot fake it. And let's say if someone has some sattvic vinamrata, has some humility because of sattva gun, because of family tradition. Let's say the father was a very humble person, the grandfather was a very humble person, the great-grandfather was a very humble person. Yes, it is possible for somebody to be born like that, but it is not permanent. Because with time, you will see by maybe peer pressure, by friend circle, by throwing in more of Netflix impressions in the heart, hearing Hollywood and Bollywood music and eating whatever junk we want to, what's happening is we are throwing in more junk than the good qualities that we have received. And in no time it will replace. But if there is bhakti for Krishna, which is achala, nishchala, bhakti rastu, which is steady, to the extent bhakti is steady, to that extent humility is steady. And to the extent bhakti is from the heart, eternally present, to that extent humility is from the heart and eternally present.
Thank you, Prabhuji. There is one more question. Shino, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. By your mercy and mercy of Acharyas, I'm getting answer to my questions. Today, my son, he's 9-year-old. He want to ask you something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. When I
Hare
asked to my friends at school, who do you think is God? They said, I don't know. Who do you think? I said, Krishna's God. Just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then God will be with you. And they just laughed at me.
Yes, you're like a PhD professor sitting in the classroom of kindergarten, so they will not understand anyway. So the best thing to do is don't try to preach to them. Don't speak about things that they will mock you for. Don't worry. You just practice bhakti. What you're saying is perfectly in line with Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So you have complete faith in the presence of Krishna and the worship of Krishna and chanting of Hare Krishna, but you don't preach to anyone. You take care of yourself. And if someone comes and asks you in a way that they don't laugh at you, then take them to the side and give them whatever you want to offer from your heart. You can even bring them home. Okay? But don't say or act in a way that they will mock you or make fun of you. Don't do that.
Yeah. That's nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Because that's in line with the 9th offense to the holy name. So it's better not to preach to people who are detrimental or faithless.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions anyone has? Okay, there is one more. Pundrikaksha Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Om pavitra apavitro va
Krishna
sarva
Prabhuji.
avastha gatopi va yasmaret pundarikaksham sa bahyabhyantara shuchi.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanath Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very nice lecture, Prabhuji. It was touching so many aspects which actually I'm lacking. But Prabhuji, I am trying to understand that Sripad, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's example that you mentioned. Whoever utters my name, they will be contaminated. So how to understand that, Prabhuji? So, because actually we know that he is elevated devotee, he is a great soul. Actually, we by uttering his name itself, we get purified. But when a devotee saying like that, so basically humility versus honesty there. How to understand that, Prabhuji?
Humility is complete honesty. Complete honesty. Like, for example, if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Right? Krishna says there is only suffering in this world. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Is that true? The answer is yes, it is. There's full of only suffering. But if you see Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, he says, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Vidhi Mahendradi Shakitayate Yad karunya kataksha vai bhavavatam tam gaurame vastu. He says the whole world is full of joy. He says the whole world is full of joy. Now Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati is a pure Vaishnava. He's a Diksha Guru of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Krishna in the Gita is saying the world is full of suffering. And Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati is saying the world is full of joy. Now who is speaking the truth and who is lying? Actually, both are speaking the truth. Krishna is saying if you have no bhakti, then there is dukkha. Even the most happiest situation will only bring in suffering, because very soon it will end. But if you have bhakti, then Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, because even in the greatest distress, you will see, my Lord, you are having some great plan for me. Wonderful. I am not able to see it, but I trust you. So both are speaking the truth from different perspectives. So Krishna's name is all purifying and all pure. Yes, this is true. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvam Nama Namin. There is no doubt about it that Krishna's name purifies. Nahi Bhagavan Aghatitam Idam Tvad Darshanat Rinam Akhila Papakshaya Yan Nama Sakrit Shravanat Pukkashopi Vimuchate Samsarat. The 6th canto, 16th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam describes. Just by saying Krishna once, just by saying Rama once, just by saying Hari once, just by saying Narayana once, Ajamil was liberated. Kvachaham kitava papo brahmagno nirapatrapa Kvacha Narayana iti etad Bhagavan Nama Mangalam. Ajamil is saying, I was so fallen. Kvachaham kitava. I was a cheater. Papa, I was sinful. Brahmagna, I was the blot in Brahminical culture. Nirapatrapa, I was shameless. But just once I uttered Narayana, Bhagavan Nama Mangalam, the name uplifted me. So there is no doubt, name protects. Dhruva Maharaj chanted the holy name. Prahlad Maharaj chanted the holy name. Gajendra chanted the holy name. Draupadi chanted the holy name. And the Bhagavatam ends as Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Pranamu Dukkha Shamanas Tam Namami Harim Param. So there is no doubt. Krishna's name is all purifying. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad says, Moraje Naam Shune Tara Punyakshay. Acha, there is a hidden meaning here. There is a hidden meaning here. Of course, in his humility, he is saying that yes, Krishna Naam is purifying, but because it is in connection with me and I am so fallen going to hell, तो कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा नाम लेकर. अगर if it is after Krishna you add Das Kaviraj, then he says, फिर तो बात नहीं बनेगी. Don't. There is no point. This is in humble perspective. But from a preaching perspective, honest perspective also, if you chant Krishna's name, both Papa and Punya, both are destroyed. Because if Punya remains, then we'll come in this world to enjoy. If Papa remains, we'll come in this world to suffer. But if you chant Krishna's name, Papa and Punya, both are destroyed and one goes to the spiritual world. So, Jai Mora Naam Shune Tara Punya Kshai. A Punya bhi nasht ho jayega mere naam lene se. So, both honesty and humility at the same time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, wonderful answer, Prabhuji. Thank you. Anyone else has any last question? Okay, one last question. Yeah, Shivani Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. I also listened to your lectures. One question, when you are in office, when people make fun that you don't eat, we cannot go lunch with you, we cannot plan any lunch because you will not eat outside. How do you manage those situations? And they laugh on us that you cannot survive if you don't eat egg or chicken.
I have survived 31 years in my life by saying that I am allergic. In America, there's a big thing about allergies. If you say that, oh, I have allergies if I touch, a few things like eggs or whatever. So they say, oh, sure, we really respect that. And with that, I've gotten far away from different engagements like that, just by saying, yes, I would love to come with all of you, but what to do? I have these allergies. So I'll just come with you in my mind, I tell them.
Right. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one more hand has gone up. Do you still have some little time to take?
Sure, we can take this as the last.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question is regarding the person who inquires about Krishna. Like, I am very new to it. I don't know much. So we have colleagues in office and around us, like we are here in Melbourne. So they ask us about Krishna. So what should be our answer when I myself is learning, and what should be our answer to them? And shall we, you mentioned that we should not preach about Krishna if the person, they might be atheist also, and sometimes the conversation can go into some a different form as well. What should be our answer if somebody asks? Or if somebody doesn't ask, should we ourselves go and tell about Krishna to them?
श्रद्धावान जन है भक्ति अधिकारी, उत्तम अदम कनिष्ठ श्रद्धा अनुसारी. शास्त्र युक्ति सुनिपुण, दृढ़ श्रद्धा जार, सही उत्तम अधिकारी तारे ये संसार. शास्त्र युक्ति सुनिपुण, शास्त्र युक्ति नाही जानी, दृढ़ श्रद्धावान, सही मध्यम अधिकारी महाभाग्यवान. जार कोमल श्रद्धा से कनिष्ठ जन, क्रमे क्रमे शयी हुई बे उत्तम. Our Kaviraj Goswami Pad has said, depending on our state of consciousness, the answers are different. Like, for example, if we are an expert swimmer, then if someone is drowning and asking for help, then you can jump. I mean, of course, even if they don't ask for help, you see that they are drowning, you still jump into the water, because now you can swim out with their weight. That an expert swimmer can. Now, if someone, let's say, is not an expert swimmer, they know to swim, but they don't know to save. In that case, what you do is, you can offer your hand to that drowning person, but make sure your hand is also holding a pole, so that with the strength of that pole, you can pull this person in. Or third category, if you don't know to swim, then call an expert lifesaver or a rescue operator, because if you don't know to swim and you jump, then two people will drown, right? So why I'm giving this example is, let's say if someone doesn't know about Krishna or God, they are drowning in the ocean of, let's say, inquisitiveness. I'm not saying drowning, but they're drowning in the ocean of inquisitiveness, like they're bubbling to know. So now let's say if you have the answers to all those questions and you can convince them very well, then you jump into it and you swim, which means when they ask you questions, seeing their level, you answer questions from the scripture, from logic, and in a very polite, sensitive, sensible, conversational way. Not confronting, not preaching, not defeating, nothing. Politely, with honesty, you're speaking to them, you're getting to know them, and you know how to navigate the conversation from where they are to where you want them to be. That's an expert swimmer. But let's say if you can't do this, you are convinced, but you can't convince others, let's say, which means that's like a swimmer who can swim, but he can't jump and help others. So in that case, what you do is, answers that you have, you provide, like you give your hand. But then if they ask you questions that you don't have an answer to, then you call a rescue operator or you call a lifeguard. Like, you can tell them, very good questions. Actually, this is amazing, because even I'm learning in this process. How about I connect you to a very wonderful friend of mine and you and I both can learn with them? Something like that. But the worst thing would be to jump into the water, quote unquote, to save them, and to heroically get drowned ourselves. Which means we jump, Krishna is God, everyone's suffering, come on, I am the savior. You start speaking, and then they say, oh, if Krishna is God, then argument number 1, argument number 2, argument number 3, and you're like, oh yeah, what you're saying is correct. I think you opened my eyes. Instead of Guru opening our eyes, you'll be like, I think you opened my eyes. I think you make sense. I don't think God exists. So that's a person who has heroically drowned himself with the other person. So that we should not. So you see where your level is. If you are just starting on the process of bhakti, then janma sarthaka kari kara para upakar. First, feed your heart. Don't try to preach to others. You read, you learn, you build your faith. A child who is just wobbling to walk and is falling again and again cannot teach another person to walk. Not possible. Ishware tad adhineshu balisheshu dvishatsu cha prema maitri kripopeksha yakaroti samadhyama sarva bhuteshu yapashyet bhagavan bhavamatmanah bhutani bhagavatyatmani esha bhagavatottama. Someone who's a father who can even run a marathon, he can teach others how to walk, how to get up, how to run, how to bike, cycle, everything. So I would say you build the credit, the spiritual bank account in your heart. And if someone comes inquisitively asking you, then you share whatever you have learned. And if they ask questions, then you and that person can both get directed to a superior. If someone comes and asks you a question and you're answering and they confront, then let go at that point, because you don't want to drop your faith at that point, right? But you don't go and start preaching because that level has not come at this point. Is that okay? So I've analyzed depending on what happens to you and how you should respond, and on the basis of what the Acharyas have said.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Amarendra Prabhuji. Your time is very precious, and I know you're very busy, but in that your busy schedule as well, somehow or the other, you have found some time for all of us to explain about this principle. What is humility? There are so many examples that you explained of very wonderful acharyas. Also, I know you personally, so I know your example as well, and that is why I requested you to speak on this topic of humility. So let us show our appreciation for Prabhuji by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra loudly for him. You can all unmute yourself and chant.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare. Thank you very, very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amarendra Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Grace Amarendra Sahas
Prabhuji,
Prabhu
thank you so much.
ki
Jai.